Hero Pass just released and it's not what it's supposed to be, and Jagex is misleading you in broad daylight. Let's start by talking about the Hero Pass's length, because understanding how long it takes to complete will offer you an educated perspective on everything else wrong with it. Hero Pass has 120 levels, 99 of which are 1000 points each, with the last 21 levels, so levels 100 to 120, requiring 3000 points each. In total, this means that the Hero Pass has 162,000 points, although there's a Discover mission which gives you 1250 points for pretty much just exploring the interface and completing a single daily, giving you a grand total of 1250 points. So let's say that in total you need to gain 160,750 hero points to complete this Hero Pass. Currently, you can gain 240 points per hour skilling and 240 points per hour for doing combat as well. If you're killing bosses, you're able to gain an additional point for every 5 marks of war, and as you're able to gain 1000 marks of war per hour, that would mean you'd be able to gain 200 points more per hour doing some kind of AFK boss, for example AFK Archglacier with wall mechanic turned on. This means that bossing, AFK bossing that is 440 points per hour at best. You can also do clues where you gain a single point for every clue step you complete. So if you were to do easy clues at a rate of 25 to 50 clues per hour, you'd be getting around 100 to 200 points per hour. With these rates in mind, it would take you shockingly long to complete the Hero Pass, but thankfully, there's dailies, weeklies, weekly general, and special missions. You're able to gain 375 points for dailies 1, 2, and 3 every single day. You're able to gain 1250 points per weekly task, which also expires, by the way. Assuming you complete this weekly task, you'll have another 12 to complete throughout the 3-month-long duration. So that's 13 times 1250 points in total. There's also weekly general missions which do not expire and give you 2000 points each, so that's another 30 missions you can complete. We then have special missions, of which there's a couple right now. I'm not sure if more will be added, but all of these in total will give you 20,000 Hero Pass points. This means that by completing every single mission, you would be able to complete 40% of the entire Battle Pass, which is a significant amount. This isn't including the amount of points you would gain by actually completing those tasks, for which you would also gain points, of course. Now, if you watched my previous video on the announcement of Hero Pass, you know that the goal of Hero Pass was to improve dailyscape by extending how long dailies take, because they now definitely take longer, reducing the amount of XP they give, reducing or removing the daily keys you get from them, and now daily missions that expire, mind you, account for 21% of the total points you need to complete the Hero Pass. These daily missions expire every single day, meaning that if you do not log on every single day to complete these missions, you are completing this pass 20% slower than everybody else. Not to mention you're missing out on your treasure hunter keys, which you would be getting from your daily challenges. So not only did your daily challenges get nerfed, you're now being misled into thinking that dailyscape is less important, while in fact, if you want these cool cosmetics, conjure overrides, and the gameplay buffs, which we're going to get to in just a second, well, you're going to have to play daily to get there quickly, or play far more to catch up. Or you could just spend money to buy skips, which is something we're going to get to. But for now, let's focus on how long this Hero Pass takes to complete. Okay, so we know how many points we gain from completing these missions. You would need to spend an average of 195 to 357 hours to complete the entire Hero Pass, assuming you complete every single daily and the weekly plus weekly general missions. Or about 2.2 to 4 hours per day, which I think is a lot to ask from players if you consider that they also need to complete these missions, okay? That's a lot of time every single day. Do keep in mind that these hours do not take into account points gained while completing tasks. It only takes into account the end reward you gain from those missions and takes that off the total 160,750 points you need. But in reality, it's not going to be that far off. Now, let's say you complete every single mission, every daily, weekly, and all the special missions. How much time would you need to play every single day? Well, about 1.7 to 3 hours per day, which is almost reasonable. But I would still say that's too long, especially if you're completing all those missions, which forces a certain type of gameplay. I think a battle pass should take no longer than 2 hours per day, or less if you're completing missions. Any game that requires you to play more than 2 hours per day, forcing you to do a certain playstyle by completing these missions, by the way, because that's forcing a playstyle. If you have to do Raptor Slayer tasks, you have to do, I don't know, D&Ds you don't like doing, or you've maxed out your XP, is not good. Even if the game is as AFKable as RuneScape, and the average player probably has a longer play session than a player playing, I don't know, Far Cry or something, that isn't an excuse. And the reason that isn't an excuse is because not everyone has the ability to AFK RuneScape at their job. Not everyone can commit even AFK hours to a game like this every single day. For every daily you miss, you're going to need to spend around 93 minutes to catch up doing normal skilling or combat AFK gameplay. So while the Battle Pass doesn't take incredibly long to complete, it does if you start missing out on missions. So it's a little bit too slow for my liking. And Jagex knows this, and that's why they're selling skips yet again. For bonds and also for IRA money. You can complete the entire Hero Pass by spending just 24 bonds. 24 bonds for 120 levels. And what's worse is that these level skips become stronger as you go up, because the levels after level 99 require 3,000 points each. So a level skip then is far more valuable. How much more valuable? Well, a bond is worth 5,000 points, so about 20.8 hours of skilling gameplay if you are levels 1 to 99, and for levels 100 to 120, they're worth 15,000 points, or about 62.5 hours of gameplay. Jagex knows exactly what they were doing, and they were kind enough to not even talk about these skips during the livestream or the initial posting of Hero Pass. Alternatively, you can also go on your mobile device, log in, and buy Hero Pass skips for money directly instead of using bonds. And the entire Hero Pass would cost you 141 euros if you wanted to skip the entire thing straight away, which is just absurd. Now you might be wondering, well, you don't really need to complete Hero Pass, don't you? It's just cosmetics, and some people want them more than others, and that's true. But this Hero Pass has gameplay buffs in the form of charges, and you're going to want to have these depending on what you're doing in the game. What's really disgusting about these charges is that the majority of these are locked early on, that is, behind the premium reward tier. So the tier that only Premier Club members have access to for free, even though they're technically paying for it by paying in advance for membership and all that kind of stuff. Let's have a look at the Chaos War charges. At level 17, we get 12 of them if we have the Premium Pass. At level 57, we get another 12. Premium Pass. And then finally, at level 97, free players without Premier Club membership get 16 Chaos War charges. So Premium Pass players get 150% more Chaos War charges, and they get them way sooner. Unless, of course, you buy the Premier Pass, which you can only get by being a Premier Club member, so buying yearly membership, or spending 3 bonds, or buying it directly on mobile for 18 euros. And let's not forget that some of these buffs are incredibly strong. The Chaos Ward one allows you to reduce damage at one of the hardest bosses in RuneScape by 20%. So that means you have 150% more kills with 20% damage reduction just because you're a Premier Club member or you decided to buy the Premier Pass. This shouldn't be the case. Special cosmetics should be locked behind a paywall. Gameplay changing buffs should not be something a player is locked out of just because they don't have Premier Club membership or they didn't spend 3 bonds to get the Premier Pass. There are so many things wrong with Hero Pass and the intended reasons to replace Yak Track with this system that I challenge Jagex to make it right. Remove Hero Pass, take a step back, and actually listen to the community that is clearly upset. Start by rebalancing how these gameplay buff rewards are given out. Give players back their daily keys for daily missions, and actually reduce daily FOMO by removing the expiration date for daily missions so that you can complete these whenever you want. And never, ever call an MTX update a major update again.